The ATM has welcomed the start of a probe looking into the Phala Phala farm burglary. The Section 89 panel is looking into whether President Cyril Ramaphosa has a case to answer to regarding that alleged 2020 theft of hard cash from his Limpopo farm. This three-member team was set up following a motion by the ATM calling for the president's removal. In fact, the party's president, that's ATM's president, Vuyo Zungula, joins us now via our video link for more on his thoughts around where we are so far and perhaps what the way forward looks like. Vuyo, it's great to see you. Thanks for your time, sir. Let me begin by saying this. You know, it's really taken a long time for us to get here. In fact, weeks. And along the way, there was issues around whether or not this panel would be impartial with Richard Calland involved. We've now gotten here, and the team has 30 days to do its work. Broadly speaking, are you satisfied with the process leading to this point?
Morning to your viewers. We as the ATM, we are not really satisfied. It should not have taken so much time for the panel to actually start working. We submitted the motion in June, and finally it was adopted or passed by the Speaker on the 18th of July. Now, from the 18th of July to 18th October, it's only then that the panel has had to start. So we believe that they are delaying tactics. However, if you look at the work of the panel, in our view, they've got a very, very simple job, because the evidence that is there based on what we've submitted and what the president has said, either in his Twitter profile, the statements, articulations in the ANC conference, clearly shows that there is prima facie evidence that he has violated the constitution. You'll remember in the last question and answer session in Parliament, he effectively told the nation that he broke Section 96(2)(b) of the Constitution, read with 83(b) of the Constitution, when he said he gave an unlawful instruction for his head of his protection unit to investigate something that happened on his private farm. So we believe that throughout the entire process, what the panel has got to do is to just, in fact, they should be done by today, because the amount of evidence that we have submitted is more than enough for them to actually not even take 30 days to confirm that there is prima facie evidence of the abuse of power and the breaches of the Constitution by the sitting president.
Wow. Of course, if this panel is to deliver some kind of report, that report will have to be debated first by Parliament. There's already discussions around how this will be a test of whether or not MPs' behavior has changed, given how typically MPs have responded to things like motions of no confidence against presidents in the past. How confident are you that MPs, in fact, will look at this from a neutral perspective in the interest of justice?
Well, if the MPs decide to exonerate and defend someone who's accused of very, very grave and serious crimes like money laundering, defeating the ends of justice, kidnapping and torturing people, that speaks to, the quality of their organization and how they deserve not to be voted for in power again in 2024. Because what is important for us as the ATM is that a person who is regarded or given the power of being the head of state must be a person that is beyond reproach, must be a person that has got confidence, not only from opposition parties, but from the entire society, that indeed he will use his power for the benefit of the citizens. He will not abuse his power for his own selfish needs. Therefore, if you are going to have someone, confirmed by an independent panel that indeed there is evidence that this person has violated the Constitution, because we are not dealing with just a motion of no confidence where we're talking about his performance in government, but we're dealing with serious violations to the Constitution. So any organization that will want to defend a person that seriously violates the Constitution, that organization must be nowhere power come 2024.
Do you have confidence in the independence of this panel?
We have confidence that the information and the evidence that we've submitted is more than enough for the panel to actually confirm that there is prima facie evidence. Now, we do not want to comment whether we've got confidence on them as personalities, because a person can be shocked. However, with the amount of evidence that we have, and we gave our motion to various legal gurus across the country, and some of them we know they're very critical of the ATM. But when they were commenting to us, they were saying there is more than enough prima facie evidence. So it is going to be a test of whether they indeed are really independent when they bring back a report that states that indeed there is prima facie evidence that the president has broken the constitution.
That's not fair though, Mr. Zungula, surely. I mean, their independence can't be dependent on whether or not you agree with their findings, which is why I'd asked my initial question to begin with, because it would inform how we respond to whatever it is they find, surely.
No, definitely it's very fair what we are stating, because what we're saying here is that the evidence is there. Now, if a person is given evidence that someone has shot someone, here is the gun, here is a video, that actually confirms that you have shot someone, it's very clear. So you can't come and exonerate a person and then, you want us to accept your hogwash of a report. All right, so that is why we are saying with the evidence that is there, evidence that we've submitted, their evidence should not, their independence should not even be a question, because they do not do anything other than confirm what is already known, that the president has violated the constitution.
Using that logic then, you must believe that this process is completely useless.
The logic is what?
I'm saying if we follow your logic, you must believe then that this process with this independent panel is completely useless. As far as you're concerned, it's a far-gone conclusion. We shouldn't bother because the evidence is already there.
No. The rules of parliament state that part of the process to impeach a president is that there must be an independent panel that must look at the evidence. The point that we are stressing as the ATM is that the evidence that we have submitted, that we've taken to other legal gurus who are at times very critical of the ATM, have come back to say, with this motion that has been passed by the Speaker, because even the Speaker would not just pass a hogwash of a motion and say it must go to an independent panel, because even her office has got legal, advisors that look at the legality of the motion. Yeah. Therefore, and that is why we are of the view that this process, it is required by the rules. However, with the evidence that we've submitted, it becomes just a tick box exercise.
It's just procedural, yes, which is what I was going to allude to. So, yeah, as far as you're concerned, it's just a procedural process that needs to unfold for what you reckon is a far-gone conclusion. What happens then if this panel doesn't necessarily find what you reckon is obvious? Because there is also something to be said around respecting the integrity of these processes if the integrity of the Constitution itself is going to remain intact.
Look, if the independent panel comes with a report that is questionable, regardless how we may feel about the individuals in the independent panel, we have an option to approach the courts. You remember a few years back there was a Nkandla report in which the parliament decided to actually exonerate the then president that on that particular report. When parties went to court, that report was actually overturned because the amount of evidence clearly showed that Parliament was not taking their duties seriously. So we've got the same opportunity as the ATM should it happen that we're not happy with the report.
All right, Vuyo Zungula, thanks very much indeed for your time. Really appreciate your take at this early stage. That independent panel, of course, has 30 days to complete their work. Vuyo Zungula is the leader of the ATM. Thanks once again.